and just want to mess around with others. It's going to be good.
Ugh. I can already tell this is going to be triggering, but so helpful for so many of you. So I think today we'll break down exactly why men hesitate and just fool around with certain types of women and the type of women that man just wants to pursue, marry, spoil, chase, all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm Coach B, of course, former lifelong bachelor. This is right up my alley, being a former bachelor of 30 plus years,
Yeah.
until I found my beautiful wife, pursued her,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't hesitate. So I'll
Yeah.
give you some details on that as well.
Yeah, well, actually, there was some hesitation there,
Yes, yes.
but I'll
That's a
teach
good
you.
point.
I'll teach you, ladies, how I navigated that
Yes.
hesitation phase because everything just works in our favor, ladies, when you are on this channel and in our programs. And for those of you that are new, what's up? I'm Natasha. I
Yes.
was a former single mama with 4 little kids. Went through a whole bunch of trauma, loss, had a major glow up, and I actually specialize in helping women re-regulate and master their potent magnetic feminine energy, their nervous system, so you can be calm and regulated, and your hormones as well, because that just ties into everything that we talk about with relationship, how you feel about yourself as a woman, your weight, everything. So if you are seeing this, you are meant to see this for a reason, because we've helped thousands
Yes.
of women across the globe get engaged, get married, help them release the wrong situationships, and clear space for their husbands, their provider energy husbands.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely get those notebooks ready. We're going to jump into the points. Make sure you get your questions ready as well. We'll try and answer as many questions as we can at the end.
Yeah.
Let's jump into
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So let's start off with the type of woman that men hesitate with, that they'll fool around with, right? They'll maybe make it seem like they're into
Yeah.
you, but they're not going to marry you. They're
Yes.
not going to give you that consistency that women really crave that are on our, are on our page in our programs. So the number one thing that you ladies have to understand is a man responds to your nervous system. So we talk a lot about how the woman needs to feel safe. She needs to feel safe in her nervous system, which is 100% true. It's very, very important. Otherwise, she won't be able to receive him. But we don't really talk a lot about how the man has to feel safe in his nervous
Yeah.
system. And the reason why we don't talk about that a lot is because it's subconscious. That the man really truly needs to feel safe in his nervous system to pursue her and to go to that next level of full commitment in marriage. And even scripture talks about this. So in Proverbs 31, it says that the heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. So this is not just our idea, this is God's idea that the man also needs to feel
Yeah.
safe in his nervous system to fully commit to you.
Yeah. And I just even want to add, when we
Yeah.
say when a man pursues you,
Yeah.
we're talking about not just getting engaged, not just a long term relationship. Until a man decides that he wants to marry you,
Yeah.
in most cases, it's just someone that's messing around with you. Someone, it could be a long term situationship, a long term situation where you're messing around. You may know family, you may live together, but until it's official with a marriage,
Yeah.
a man hasn't pursued you to the fullest. And the thing is, when you talk about a man feeling safe, it's so important because a man understands when he makes that commitment and he finds the wife, not just someone that he likes being around, not just someone who's attractive, but a wife, then he can relax. Up until then, he's in his protective mode. Okay, he's protecting his energy, he's protecting his time, his resources. And we want to make sure before we take that next step, because that was something that we went through as well,
yeah.
where initially we met, we enjoyed being around each other, such great chemistry. And I know so many people who are listening talk about the chemistry and we just love being around each other, have so much in common.
Yeah.
But for me, my nervous system wasn't in a place where I was ready at the time. And looking back, it's all the different things moving. Okay, she has kids, all these things that I needed to feel like, okay, I would be okay with this. We were on the same page until that, because I self sabotaged because she was ready. We were talking about moving forward. But for me, I wasn't ready. I didn't feel safe, not because she didn't make me feel safe,
Yeah.
but just because I had been in a previous relationship, a long term relationship, I had been engaged, and I hadn't done the healing that I needed. So until I felt safe, like, okay, I can move forward and things are going to work out, I self sabotage. So it's not always you, but
Yeah.
he has to feel safe before he moves forward. And you don't want to find yourself trying to make him feel safe. Okay,
No.
what do I need to do? Okay, let me just do this. No, if he doesn't feel safe, he's not moving forward.
And ladies, we want to be really careful with this. Like, first of all, men are not sitting around and thinking, I need to feel safe. Like, he had no idea
Not at all.
at all. Like, he didn't have the words to articulate. How men think is just like, I don't know if the timing is right, or I don't know if she's the one,
Yeah.
or I got this other stuff I have to take care of first. That's what they're saying to themselves. It's not like, oh, I don't feel safe, like, and exactly what Coach B was saying. It's not your job to try to sugarcoat things and overdo things
Yeah.
just so he wants to be with you.
Yeah.
So speaking of the nervous system stuff, the other thing I want to touch on is that a woman that is really anxious, that feels very chaotic to
Yes.
him, and men resist that.
Yeah.
So and this is a lot of women that we coach actually, where the woman, she maybe doesn't realize it, but she's anxious. She's really attached to him. She is overthinking, overanalyzing, overdoing, just wants to do everything to prove to him that she's amazing and he should be with her. And you're trying to convince him. You're standing on your head. You're exclusive with him. Oh, I don't want to be with anybody else.
Right.
I just want to be with you.
Yes.
Those are all signs of that anxious attachment style. And it looks like pick me energy, right? And he's going to resist that. So, and another thing too is we see this so much with women that we coach, because we do coach a lot of single moms as well, where you haven't taken time to heal. And so you are just triggered and anxious about everything. Even if you're not a single mom, you got to be really real and ask yourself, are you like that? Are you really anxious and triggered all the time? Everything stresses you out. You get overwhelmed really easily. All of those things. And I get it. I was like that because I had gone through some trauma, losing my first marriage. But it's your responsibility to heal that. And I promise you, ladies, when you heal that and you are calm and regulated, everyone wants to marry you.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're attractive, which most women are attractive, like there's enough things you can do as a woman to be attractive to your husband, right? But it doesn't matter how beautiful you are. If you are all over the place emotionally, like you are like what I call wounded dog. You don't know if that dog is going to snap at you
Yes.
or is going to be the cutest, sweetest dog. If you are like that with men, they will run. They can smell it from a mile away.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
such a good point. And if you have those, okay, sometimes I just have to let it out moments,
Yeah.
then he looks at you as someone who's unstable and chaotic. And
Yeah.
he's not going to want to pursue you not because of the good times, but
Yeah.
because of the unpredictability.
Yeah.
And one thing that I wanted to point out too, even in our situation,
Yeah.
one thing that stood out to me, and I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't like, okay, let me just check this, let me test her in this area. But looking back, as we were going through and having a conversation about being together, and then she detached, one thing that stood out is how she kept everything on the same level. It wasn't emotional.
Yeah.
It wasn't, okay, well, you told me this. You told me that you wanted to be with me. Now you're not acting like it. No, she just said, okay, I see you're busy. You have a lot going on. And that moment, I end up looking back on it. In that moment, it wasn't like, oh, okay, I see she's the one.
Yeah.
No, in that moment, it was like, okay, what's next? But it wasn't, it didn't make me feel good. But looking back,
Yeah.
I saw that moving forward, that being in a relationship with her could potentially be something where, okay, we know how to talk things out. Okay, she's not emotionally up and down. She's not super chaotic when she gets upset. Those things stood out. So when I came back and she was still on the market, she had, no one had scooped her up, thankfully,
Yeah.
because she took a break from it. I knew that she had that demeanor in which we would be able to work through things. And that was so important looking back.
Yeah, no, ladies, this is definitely the game changer. If he is really into you, you guys are into each other, there's attraction there, you guys have the same life values and you want the same thing in life. but you are all over the place,
Yes.
like that is the game
Yes.
changer for a man. That will keep you in the situationship category and not the wife
Yes.
category. And that's something I was very conscious of
Yeah.
when we were dating. And there, trust me, there were moments, oh, ladies, there were moments where I wanted to cuss him out. Okay? When I wanted to cuss him out. But I learned, yeah, see, he doesn't know because I have done so much inner work. You know, I come from a background where we did cuss each other out. There was swearing, there was yelling, there was, you know, just generations of single parenthood in our household and in our family line. So it's not like I was taught this. This is something I had to be so intentional of learning how to do and be within myself,
Yeah.
not normalizing screaming, yelling, cussing him out. Let me just tell him, let me just, you know, put him in his place, give him
Right.
attitude, all that stuff. That's how I was raised, but I had to learn how to not be like that with him. And I will tell you straight up, like someone like my husband, you know, high value, masculine energy man, they'd be gone so fast. Like they're just not gonna put up
Yeah.
with it. An unhealthy man will, for sure.
Yeah.
He'll go back and forth with you, argue with you know, trauma bond with you because they're so wounded. But a healthy masculine provider type man that has a lot of really good things going on in his life, has options, he is not going to stick around for that. He'll sleep with you for sure, but he's not going to marry you. And it's the same with the women. So I know sometimes women are like, what about the other way? It's the exact same way. Someone like me, a high value woman, doesn't have time for games, doesn't have time for a man that is inconsistent,
Yeah.
and doesn't have time for a man that's in his wounded feminine energy. You're going to be gone too, right? But so it does definitely goes both ways. You know, you mirror each other's energy. But if you're struggling with that, be super honest with yourself. Don't judge yourself. But that is an invitation to heal. That is an invitation to heal your anxious attachment wounds, abandonment wounds, even avoidant patterns where maybe you just shut down and just move away, right? And for a lot of people, they've just never healed these things, right? We just were not taught this when we're younger, and that's why in the Feminine Energy Academy, that's a huge part of what we teach is healing those inner child abandonment wounds, because otherwise you're going to be so triggered and overthinking and anxious with him or with another guy, and he's going to be turned off and he's not going to want to marry you, okay? Not going to want to pursue you. So that's point one. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah,
before
let me
I go to
add
point?
one more
Okay.
thing because things like that are what cause a man to feel safe. It's not
Yeah.
that you're going out your way to make him feel safe.
Yeah.
You're just being in your healthy feminine energy, and he feels safe because he knows that you're not in your masculine, and he has the puff his chest up or anything like that. So when we say safe, we're not saying like, okay, we feel scared or anything like that.
no.
No, it's okay. I feel safe enough where I can relax. I can be vulnerable. I can tell
part.
you stuff.
That part.
And I don't feel like you'll bring it back in a moment when
Yeah.
you're upset. You know, I can share with you. You can have that best friend romantic energy, but if he doesn't feel safe, you won't know anything that's going on in his life. You won't know anything he's thinking or wants to pursue. He won't share his dreams with you or anything. He has to feel safe because when he shares something, we feel like, okay, now we're vulnerable. Now we're in a place where potentially, if you don't have good intentions, you can use this against us in a negative way. So I just wanted to explain
No,
that.
that's a really good point too, honey. And that is a big thing. It's you got to ask yourself, do you tend to bring up the past? Do you tend to bring up the past? Because that is one of the biggest ways that you will shut down his nervous system real quick. And can he be vulnerable with you? Can you be vulnerable with him? Now, ladies, he needs to earn your vulnerability.
Yes.
Do not be super vulnerable with him right away. Most women, especially the anxious attachment style, you overgive. You overdo. You do too much. You're in that nice girl energy.
Yeah.
You're doing way too much. And he hasn't, actually that brings me to my second
Yes.
point. Let's just jump into the second point. The second point is you haven't given him space to pursue you. So he needs to have space to pursue you. And we're talking energetic space, we're talking time, we're talking really everything in the relationship. The man has to feel like there's something to pursue. But when your energy is always coming towards him, you're obsessively thinking about him. You're checking your phone, you're checking your stories, you're checking his stories, you're checking his social media. You're constantly thinking about the next date. Why hasn't he gotten back to me? Stuff like that. That's your energy coming towards him. And he really does need that space to pursue. But maybe
Yes.
you can go ahead.
No, it's important because how that can look, and I've seen
Yeah.
it before, is when you don't give him space to pursue you, it can be as you're getting to know him. And it happens so much because you get attached or because you just feel like, oh, he's so great. Like I said, we have so much in common. And
Yeah.
it's first, second, third date. He knows everything about you. He knows your history. He knows about all your kids' names. He knows where you grew up. That in part is not giving him time to pursue you because you're
Yeah.
just throwing everything. Like we talked about everything, and we just have so much in common. Now he feels like, okay, I know everything.
Yeah.
And we've slept together. So what do I need? How much energy or time do I need to even pursue you?
Yeah.
You haven't given him that space. You've just given it to him because he's a nice guy, because he's different than the last guy, because he understands you. But one thing that you don't remember is you told him exactly what the other guy did. So he becomes the opposite of that other guy, and he looks so different than everyone else. But he's doing it in some cases because you've given him the answers to the test.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't need to pursue you.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, that one's, I'll put her right here whenever I need to be around her, but it's too much energy for me to want to pursue her because she's talking, she's telling me everything, and I haven't even asked a question. So it's learning how to date, learning how to be around the masculine, learning how to position yourself to be found and not feeling like you have to just give everything just because he's a nice guy, just because he asked you out. He bought you food. It's like, what do I owe him? Now I'm just going to give him everything he asked for, including an opportunity to sleep with me. So when you do that, then that causes most men, they'll still be around you, they'll still want to see you, but that causes most men to not want to pursue you.
Yeah, and once again, ladies, this is subconscious. He's not going to be able to articulate this
Yeah.
to you. He's not even, a lot of times he's not even aware of this.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling that the man has where it's like, I'm just not feeling her anymore. Right? You guys slept together.
Yeah.
Right? You guys slept together, you're sleeping together, and that's when you see him start pulling away. It happens every time, ladies. Why? Because you haven't given him that chance to pursue you and bond to you. Like there's actual science behind this where a man needs space to attach to you. So he needs to release that vasopressin to attach and bond to you. Vasopressin is released when he has space to come towards you. There's challenges that he needs to overcome. There's problems
Yeah.
he needs to solve. For example, you guys live in different cities. You guys live in different countries, like Coach B and I, or a lot of the women that we coach. But give the man time and space to figure it out. Plus, that's a great way to vet him. If he's not serious about you, he's not going to be pursuing you. He's not going to try to figure out how to see you again, how to make sure you guys move next to each other.
Yes.
The women that we coach in our Feminine Energy Academy, we have seen this too many times to count. Not just once, not just with us, but too many times to count. Where the man and the woman, they met online, different cities or different countries, and he had to figure out how they could move next to each other, be together, get engaged, get married, all that stuff, so they could be next to each other. Okay. And in all of these cases that I'm thinking of right now, there's some specific women I'm thinking of right now that have worked with me. They're not living with the man, right? So they're still living in their own place, but the man helped them move. The man is paying for their rent. I was talking to one of my girls last night. She's really busy working. She's trying to grow her business right now. They're about to get engaged. They've done their ring shopping, and he's paying for her rent so she can cut back her work hours, so she can start working part-time and eventually transition out of her job into her business. But they're not living together. Right, so that's a perfect example of giving him that space to still pursue you. Coach B moved countries, temporarily moved countries to be with me, to help me and the kids while we were like seriously courting for marriage, but we did not live together. We didn't even have sleepovers. That was my boundary, right? And because he needed to know that it's not until the wedding night, babe. And once again, that's a huge vetting process for the man, because the wrong man will fall away and the right man will wait and do whatever he needs to do to pursue you. But the trick, not the trick, but the key for that, ladies, is that that's how he bonds to you. That's how he gets triggered to be in his masculinity and want to do everything he can to be with you. But maybe you can talk about
It's
that.
so true. And we're talking about ladies in the community. all type of ladies from all type of
Yes.
countries,
Yeah.
tall, short, all different
All
sizes,
races.
all different complexions, some with kids, some
Yeah.
without kids.
Yep.
So it's not just like, okay, well, she looks good, so of course it's easy, any man will do it. No, these women are all different types
Yeah.
of looks,
Yeah.
but it's their energy. It's their energy that the men love. And the thing is now, specifically with everyone dating online,
Yeah.
most people dating online, let me say that, now it's really important that your energy isn't overwhelming him, because so many women are looking for ways to help him. Okay, well, he's busy now. He works a crazy shift. Oh, he can come over at night, or I'll just go to him. Or, he's not able to travel because he's selling his house. Whatever excuse he says, or you make up for him. In most cases, you're making it up for him. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt without him even asking you to. And you're figuring out ways to go to him. You're figuring out ways to pursue him instead of relaxing and allowing him to pursue you. And trust me, ladies, if he's not in a position to pursue you, then he's not in a position to court you as well. So don't force it. Don't make it happen. That's something he needs to figure out. And he gets a reward in his mind. It's just something in our body that we feel rewarded when we're able to figure it out, when we're able to solve the Rubik's Cube
Yeah.
in the relationships. It's like, okay, I did that. Now let me do the next thing. Okay, she was supportive. That's all you have to do. Just say some supportive words. Yeah, if you want to, you got it.
Yeah.
No, man, I know you're going to work it out. Whatever you need to say, we love the support, but you have to allow us to pursue you and work things out. I don't care where he lives, what his schedule is, if he's taking care of his mom and his sister, whatever he's doing, you have to allow him to do it. You're gonna be thankful later, but he's gonna appreciate it. The fact that you showed that you're willing to relax, you're willing to allow him to lead. Because that's a sign of showing, are you going to let him lead, or are you going to take the lead in this
Yes,
and work
baby.
it out? So you have to make sure you understand that, because it's a bigger picture other than just, I want to see him.
That was so good, babe. I mean, even when we were dating and he was not fully stepping up, there were some challenges that I knew he was going through. I didn't, I stayed regulated. I wasn't tearing him apart, but I gave him that space. I was like, you know what? You have a lot going on. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Have a nice life. And I detached and I moved on with my life. And because I knew deep down, even though I knew we both wanted to be with each other, like I really deep down knew that, I still had to release him. I still had to trust God and know that, okay, if he's meant for me, I know how the masculine is wired. And the masculine is wired to pursue you. Like, just think of the sperm. That is how he is. That's how God's made him. And if he truly wants to be with you, ladies, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to be with you. I promise you that. If he is not doing everything he needs to do to be with you, he is not meant for you. Or it might not be right now. Right? And the thing is, you're not sitting around waiting. I wasn't sitting around waiting. I do not want you to sit around and wait. You take that time, you take that energy, instead of obsessing about this guy who's not showing up for you, you throw it at your inner healing. Throw it and obsess about your glow up. That's what I did. I worked on my nervous system. I healed my love blocks. I was just focusing on other areas of my life. And then, I took a break from dating. And before I decided to go back and start dating again, he had already come back into the picture, came back proper. And because it was his decision, he figured out the problem. He figured out the solutions. The polarity was there. The pursuit was there. The bond was there. The attachment was there, because he was the one that had to figure everything out. Which brings me to my third point, is they need to have that polarity. And so if that polarity is lost, he's not going to pursue it. He's not going to pursue you. And so this is why everything we teach you in here is to reactivate that polarity in the dating stage and in the marriage stage. So if your energy is always coming towards him, you're anxious, you're attached to him, you just want to be all exclusive with this guy who hasn't fully chosen you, you're doing too much. You're in your nice girl energy. And side note, nice girl energy and kind girl energy are two different things. Of course, we want you to be kind and sweet with the masculine, but being nice means you break boundaries, you lower your standards, you just overdo it for him, you just figure everything out for him, and you give him 10 chances to make it right and he still hasn't stepped up. That's nice girl energy. All of those things kill
Yeah.
polarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the ladies in the FEA, I did a master class
Yeah.
last Saturday actually on polarity. The ladies in there just loved it. So much good information. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go too deep into it, but definitely the polarity. If
Yeah.
the polarity's not there, one thing that sometimes the ladies can get confused with is
Mm-hmm.
he's reaching out, he likes me, he wants to have sex with me, he talks about being with me,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel like it's polarity there because it can be small things. He'll do all of that without polarity. He'll do that, and you're one of the guys. You go watch games, but he'll still sleep with you. He'll still want to be around you. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that there's polarity. That means
Mm-hmm.
that there's sexual chemistry. And
That's
men,
good.
yeah, men love sexual chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't have to have a lot of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just okay. We're laid back. And one lady actually wrote something like, he tells me everything what's going on. He wants to make sure that I know that we're bonded. He wants to keep that bond. So
Of
he tells you
course.
other women that he's pursuing that like him. He's telling you all of this,
Mm-hmm.
not because he's opening up to you. No, he's telling you this so everything is out on the table. So when you see him out with another woman, don't say anything because you understand. I already told you, I'm talking to other women. I have other women on the roster. So he's giving you all that information, not so you can grow your bond. He's
Mm-hmm.
giving you that so you can stay quiet when you see him out so you can understand that he's not with you exclusively. There's sexual chemistry, but there's not polarity when
Mm-hmm.
he's just talking to you any type of way. Because a man who wants to pursue you, a man who wants to be with you, he's going to definitely be open with you,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not going to want to share you. He's not going to want you with other people.
Mm-mm.
And you have to understand the difference when it comes down to the two. So it's super important. A lot of ladies get confused with that. Even the ladies that watch YouTube, the ladies that
Mm-hmm.
comment, you have to understand that.
Yeah, and yeah, we did talk a lot about that on the last live
Yes.
stream, so we won't go too much into it. But I do want to touch on the fact another thing that really kills that polarity, and it's so subtle. And this is probably one of the most common things that I see women do, besides that anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, is just how you're communicating with him.
Yes.
Most women just were never taught how to communicate with the masculine,
Mm.
and so most women, especially beautiful women, high achieving women, you
Yes.
got degrees, you're doctors. We got them all in our community: doctors and surgeons and therapists and business owners, women in finance, realtors, coaches, all these women. You're so smart.
Yeah.
You're so beautiful. You're such an amazing
Mm.
woman. Like, you're an amazing woman. People tell you you're a great catch, but you were not taught how to keep polarity in the dating stage or the marriage stage. And once again, we're not talking about sex.
Yes.
We're talking about how you communicate. And for the feminine, we communicate with our energy more than anything else.
Yes.
We communicate with our energy. That's why it's so potent to a man when you remove your energy versus you trying to nag and convince him, because that doesn't work with the men at all. But when he feels so good in your presence, and then you remove your presence because it's just not in alignment,
Yeah.
and he has that space to figure it out or fall away, that's what really activates him.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times, women, you're so used to being a leader
Yeah.
at work because you're a doctor, right? You're a therapist, you're a business owner, you're an accountant, you're a realtor. People come to you to solve problems, right? So you have to be in that energy, which is totally fine with work. But then you bring that energy into the dating or into the marriage,
Yes.
and you don't realize it. You're coaching him,
Yes.
you're helping him, you're telling him what to do, you're giving him commands. This is stuff I had to work on myself, okay? And because it's very unconscious, especially when you're a single mom and a business owner, and you're used to telling people what to do, you don't realize you're doing that with him, and it just completely destroys polarity. And
Yes.
he will never tell you. He will just stop pursuing you. He will pull away, and he's just not going to be turned on at all.
And
Yeah.
men don't care if you run a Fortune 100 company.
Yeah.
That doesn't cause them to not want to be with you.
Totally.
And they'll support you. They'll be happy for you. They'll
Yeah.
applaud. They'll make sure you have everything you need to do what your job requires. But it's when they feel disrespected. It's when you're trying to organize everything. You're trying to run everything at home. You're trying to tell him what to do. You're planning everything out because this is what you do at work. This is what you do all day. Now he's wondering. This is killing the polarity. He's wondering, okay, what is he around for? Okay, you're doing everything. You're overstepping him. You're telling him, not only making suggestions on what needs to be done, you're telling him, okay, let me do that. I can do it better. I can do it quicker. And we see it so often with ladies that either are single moms or business owners or have some type of work where in the leadership position, the polarity is gone because he doesn't feel respected. He doesn't feel like his voice is as strong as it needs to be. It seems like he's just like the kids because, okay, maybe you make more money, maybe you have more influence, and now he feels it. So understanding it's okay for you to have more influence. It's okay that everyone loves you. It's okay that you make more money. But if you want to keep the polarity in the relationship, none of that needs to be a conversation. None of that needs to be shared. None of that needs to be talked about. You can't bring it up when, maybe you feel a certain way. Well, I make more money than you anyway. Those things just kill the polarity in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard women that we've coached, they got into it with the guy and they're calling him, saying he's acting like a child.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, girl, it's hard to come back from stuff like that. When you can't control your mouth as a woman, I mean, even scripture talks about you can build up or tear down in a moment with a man. And then so I can already hear some women like, oh, what, I'm supposed to just act dumb? Because a lot of really smart women, they get triggered by this. Or like, what do you mean? Like, I have 3 degrees. I'm an administrator at my work, and I'm a CEO, I'm a CFO, I'm a doctor, I'm a therapist, I'm a professor, I'm all this stuff, which is great, girl. Like, do your thing, right? But don't throw that in his face. Don't even lead with it. And then what I'm going to really challenge you on, because I love you and I want you to receive your desires. I want you to receive that really amazing masculine provider man. So I'm going to challenge you on this. When you first talk to a man, are you leading with that without realizing it? You're jumping into the conversation. You're like, oh yeah, I have this 7-figure business, and yeah, I'm a doctor, and I've written 3 books, and I have 5 degrees, and I've traveled the world, and I just want someone that I can just have fun with, but you have completely killed the polarity. So it's not that we're trying to downplay what you've done. You got to ask yourself, why do you need to lead with that?
Yes.
Why do you need to lead with that? What are you proving? Right? Because what that tells me, when women struggle with this and they have to lead with all their accolades and their accomplishments, that is the little girl in you still trying to seek acceptance and validation. That is the little girl in you that is still seeking validation and acceptance. Once you're really healed in your nervous system and you don't care about those things, like, of course they're important, they're great, right? That's not going to turn him off by you talking about that. But once you don't have to lead with that anymore and always bring it up, that's when there's that space for that polarity to be restored. Listen, men want to impress you. Men are simple. He wants to impress you. He wants you to admire him. And when you can do that with a man, you will have any man you want. Okay? So if you only heard that one thing today, that's the game changer for you. Speaking of which, before we get into what men really want and what they really pursue, the type of women that they pursue, we'll talk about that today. Tomorrow, I'm doing a very potent masterclass where I'm going to be talking to you ladies about unlocking the codes around a secure, magnetic, sexy woman. So you can feel so confident, so secure in your nervous system, regulated in your nervous system and in your hormones, in dating and in marriage. And when you are like this and you are confident, but you're not confident in the way that you got to lead with your accolades, but you're confident in your energy, you are regulated in your nervous system. Ladies, that is what turns men on. That is what restores that polarity. That's what makes him just want to chase you and marry you, because he has never met another woman like you before. Trust me on this. This is what I do all day, every day, like clockwork. So you want to be in that masterclass. It's you can jump in right now. And of course, right now we have a special. When you jump into the Feminine Energy Academy right now, you actually get to book a one-on-one clarity call with Coach B, where he'll listen to you and he'll help you out and just help you with what to focus on in the Feminine Energy Academy. And that's for free right now. Yeah.
So jump in, make sure you schedule those appointments. Just a clarity call, just to help you navigate through the FEA. It's so much. I believe it's over $10,000 worth of content, worth of audios in the FEA trainings, along with the opportunity to get to share with us, to jump on master classes where we answer your questions and just go much deeper. Right, we go so much deeper in it. So jump in today. But you want to go ahead and give them the other side.
Yes. And I just want to say shout out to our ladies. I see Jazz. She was saying, hi, Tash. Hi, Coach B. Hey, Jazz, we see you. We love seeing our FBA ladies on our YouTube as well. Okay, so we talked about the type of woman that men hesitate with. They'll fool around with, but they hesitate with. But what type of woman does he pursue? Where it's subconscious, he doesn't even realize it, but he is just so addicted to this type of woman. He's obsessed. Even if he's been a lifelong bachelor, like my husband, he's like, okay, I'm done. This is the one for me. This type of woman. Okay, ladies, take notes. So the number one thing is she is so calm and regulated in her nervous system. These are things that a man can't even articulate. He's gonna be like, I don't know what it is. But like what you said, looking back, even when we had our moments, our moments where, we were clashing, I was calm and I was regulated because I had tools to be calm and regulated. Doesn't mean that I wasn't pissed, okay? There were moments where I was, but I was so calm and regulated that I didn't take it out on him. And when you can give a man space, that's when he's like, okay, I need to wipe this woman, right? So that's one thing.
So true. And you see it so often, and you see guys pursuing women, and these can be high value guys, just all type of guys. We see it so often. We talked about it before. Athletes pursuing and marrying waitresses, things like that. You'll see people, CEOs, want to marry their secretary, and just a woman who may be working at Burger King, a librarian sitting in the corner. One thing all of these ladies have in common is, in most cases, it could be their job or it could be just their personality. They're in their receiving soft energy. It's not a lot of combativeness. It's just them listening and being willing to just say, okay, it's about making him feel good and not making him feel pressured or anything like that. It's like, okay, can I help you with something else? If you think about a secretary, if you think about a waitress, if you think about someone who works at a fast food place, they're here to help. They're not here to push their agenda on you. They're not here to make you feel a certain way. No, how can I help this experience be so much better for you? And that soft energy, men just love it. Specifically, healthy masculine energy. It's like, okay, she can be someone who could be a helpmate. She can be someone who can be supportive in whatever business, whatever journey I'm in. And it's not about her. She wants to make sure that I feel good around her, that I feel her energy. It's not her trying to impress me. No, it's her energy that she's giving off. I love the energy. And even though he may not gone into it saying, okay, I want to be with her, her energy is so soft and so welcoming that he's just like, I need to be around her. Okay, he's going to go and ask her to make a copy of papers for her or something if they work in an office. He's just going to find his way around her because of her soft, welcoming energy. And that's what men love.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. And that's why you will see women who maybe you don't think are a 10. Maybe she has a little bit of extra weight on her. Maybe she's like, just her look, she's just not a supermodel. And she'll be with a great guy. And you see this a lot. And you're like, how is she with him? Or how is he with her? And a lot of times it's because she is in that energy. She's in her soft, feminine energy, and men cannot get enough of it. They feel so good around it. They want that. And you talk about this all the time, that they'll be with a woman who maybe, people don't think is a 10 out of 10, but he is just obsessed in love with her because of her energy. And then you'll see, we see this all day, every day on social media, especially these gorgeous women, PhD doctors, therapists, relationship coaches, gorgeous supermodels, right? And they're all single. right? You got to ask yourself, because this is a pattern. You got to ask yourself why it is. And they will say, oh, it's because men are intimidated of them, which is a big fat lie that women tell themselves.
Yes.
No healthy masculine man is intimidated of you.
Not at all.
I don't care if you're a surgeon, you're a doctor, PhD, you got 10 businesses, you're an 8-figure business owner. They are not intimidated of you. Okay.
Yes.
But you haven't learned how to flow and function in both energies.
Yes.
And so we're not saying you need to give up your success. Of course you can have your success. And of course you can have your opinion. You can be a strong woman. I definitely was that type of woman before my husband came into the picture, and I still am. But it's a skill set to learn how to keep that polarity in the relationship, and so those lines don't get crossed.
And one thing I want to add, one thing that men want to marry, men marry feminine energy.
Yeah.
Men don't marry masculine energy. Now, if you're looking good, that's a bonus. Of course, it needs to be some baseline on what they're looking for looks-wise, but they'll marry the feminine energy and they'll sleep with the good looks if the energy doesn't match. So having partners, having men, you woke up and you had 200 likes on your profile, you're on Bumble and 200 guys liked you and wrote you. No, they're looking at the looks only. Now, when it comes down to the energy, if your energy doesn't match, it'll just be a bunch of likes. It'll be a bunch of dates. But men settle down and want to marry feminine energy. So understand that if you're looking to be found, it's not like, okay, maybe you need to go to a different hairdresser. Maybe you need to dress better. Maybe you need to wear this certain designer. Men don't care about designers. Men care about your energy when they're looking at someone that they have to be around, someone that they look next to when they're going to sleep, someone that they're closing their eyes next to. It's like, okay, is this person safe to be around, or is she just going to snap out or something like that? Men think about these things when we think about the future, but if we're thinking about the present, you don't have to check many boxes. You just have to look good.
That's so good. And ladies, once again, this is no shame towards you, because most of us were raised by women that were very much in survival mode in their nervous system, masculine energy women. Our mothers raised us to be very much in our masculine energy, right? Because that's all they knew. So there's no shame. Our moms, a lot of times they came from different types of backgrounds, women of color, immigrant backgrounds, where that's all they knew was survival mode, right? And so it got programmed into us subconsciously at a nervous system level. And so, even though we bless our moms, we have to learn how to soften our energy. That is our responsibility. And you will stand out so much. I was just thinking about when we were in the dating stage and we were doing the long distance thing back and forth, and he was working with all women, all beautiful women in Chicago, okay? And I wasn't insecure at all, ever. And you know why? Because I know that most women are in their masculine energy. Most women, almost 100%, like at least 99% of them are in their masculine energy. And someone that's really in his masculine that wants to get married is not going to want to marry that. So for you as a woman, you should never feel insecure, period. But when you're in this energy, when you really understand the stuff we teach, you're not going to be insecure, because you are going to stand out so much. And there's just not going to be any competition, because you just stand out so much. Most women are walking around wounded in their masculine energy and don't know how to communicate with men, which brings me to a couple more points. And I see Sherry said she just joined the Feminine Energy Academy. How do I book my one-on-one session? So when you go in the Feminine Energy Academy, it says start here in the classroom. When you click that, the very first video, there's a link to book your one-on-one session. And also, if you check your private DMs, in the Feminine Energy Academy, we also send you the link so you can book your one-on-one call with Coach B. So there you go. So a couple of other things. Men pursue this type of woman. So we talked about being calm and regulated. Another thing is that she just knows what a man wants. She knows what a man wants. Do you really know what a man wants, ladies? And I'm talking masculine men, and I'm not talking about seg.
Yeah, no, that's so important, because, like you said, as you're taught growing up, a lot of stuff you see on TV, a lot of stuff you see online is about what you want, about what he needs to do for you. And all of that is true. All of that, you don't want to look past that. But so many people go into it one-sided, not understanding what he wants, what he needs. And I'm talking about a healthy masculine energy, man, because it's one thing to say, okay, only thing a man needs is a meal and, whatever you hear.
And some sex.
Yeah, and some sex. Hey, listen, that's the only thing a man who wants to sleep with you needs. A man
Yeah.
who wants a situationship needs. But you have to understand if
Yeah.
you've never been in a healthy marriage relationship, you need to know what a man who's a husband needs, not just a man, because you can get those two lines blurred, and you can say, "I know what a man needs. It's about me. It's about him making sure happy life, happy wife." You
Yeah.
know, and we understand that it's two sides to the coin. But if you don't do the things or position yourself to know what he needs from you as the woman, what type of energy he needs from you, what type of support he needs from you, just as a wife,
Yeah.
what a wife needs to do, how you present yourself, knowing that a man needs respect above all things. These small things are the things that you have to know, or else you'll be saying, okay, well, I dressed the part.
Yeah.
I look good. I cook him his meal every time he gets home. His clothes are laid out for him, so he shouldn't have any issues. The way you said that is an issue. Your attitude and the way you said that is an issue. So understanding what he needs is super important.
Yeah, because and then speaking to what you're talking about, that's when you can become resentful because you're doing so much for him, and then his energy is not coming towards you, and that's when women become resentful.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to mention was what was the other thing? We talked about being calm and regulated. We
Yeah.
talked about communication. There was something else that I didn't write down.
Being confident, being
Oh,
regulated.
confident. That's what I was talking about. I'm like, it was something I didn't write down.
Ah.
So the other thing, ladies, you just being super confident, here's the difference, ladies, not in what you do. So you're super confident in who you are, not what you do. A lot of women have a lot of masculine energy confidence. So masculine energy confidence, and I used to be like this, ladies. So everything I'm saying to you, I've had to work on, okay? So there's no judgment here. But that masculine energy confidence in a woman is, these are all my accomplishments. This is all the stuff that I do. I'm running businesses. I run a team. I have all these kids. I'm a single mom. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That's you leading with your masculine energy confidence, which we talked about kills polarity, right? Because masculine energy, it's just going to neutralize. Like he's just not going to be turned on by that. Your feminine energy confidence is what I'm talking about. So your feminine energy confidence is how God's made you. You are Christ's bride. This is just you being you. It's your soft energy. It's you not having to prove anything. It's you looking good. It's you feeling good. This is why we do hormone work. We work on your hormones, because a woman that's in perimenopause and menopause that doesn't have the tools that she needs isn't going to feel good. Or a lot of times she's going to pack on weight. She's not going to be sleeping properly. She's going to be anxious and stressed. You're just not going to feel good about yourself. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel attracted to you. He's not going to feel like that, right? But when this is why this is a starting point with all the women that I coach, is when we get you regulated in your nervous system and in your hormones, you are feeling good about yourself. You're feeling good in your body. Not about being perfect, ladies. I'm not saying you need to be a size 2. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I'm saying you feel good in your body. You feel sexy in your body. When you feel like that and you don't have to prove anything to anybody, that's what makes you insanely magnetic to the masculine. That's what makes him want to pursue you and marry you. Okay, and of course, we're going to go through that tomorrow on tomorrow's masterclass. Yeah.
And just adding to the confidence piece, because a lot of times when you're not super confident in who you are, you begin to overshare. You begin to over-explain. And one thing that I want you ladies to know and to understand, in most cases, and I'm talking about 99.9% of the time, men want to know the facts, but don't care much about the story or your version of the story. Because a lot of times when you're giving your version, it's more about, okay, this is how I feel. Just let me know and then allow me to solve, allow me to help you out. Because when you're giving me all these other details, the story behind it, well, I'm a single mom and it's hard and all of this is true. But one thing men understand, I understood she was a single mom of 4. So I understood some of the things that came with it, some of the stresses. I didn't need to know the story, right? As we go on, you hear more like, okay, this situation reminds me of this, or I remember this happened, but I don't need to hear the story day one.
Yeah. Yes.
You're telling me the story day one, and I'm just getting to know you. No, what's the facts? Are you single?
Yeah.
Do you have kids? Yes. I don't need you to tell me you have kids and me and the baby daddy, we trying to figure stuff out. No, you're oversharing because you're not confident in that relationship
Yeah.
or in how it's going, right?
Yeah.
In how you in what the agreement is. So don't overshare because for us that allows us to know that it's some shaky spaces
Yeah.
in you. Like you're not on solid ground in that area. Let him know the facts. If he asks for any details, you can share. But don't start oversharing and just giving him information because it can come across in that way.
So before we get to the questions, I want to answer another question. I can't remember if they asked this on YouTube or where. Maybe it was in the FEA.
Okay.
But somebody had asked a question like, okay, so we're not supposed to be oversharing. We're not supposed to be doing all this. What was the question exactly? It'll come back to me.
Yes.
Let's go to these questions.
And shout out to Jazz and to
Yeah.
Boosted Barbie. We'll get to your question first, actually. But one of my
Oh, no,
quotes, cute in the face, thin in the waist. Not a lot to say. Men love it. Go ahead.
Okay, I remember what the question was. They were asking, they're like, okay, I think it was on your masterclass. They were
Okay.
asking you this, but I wanted to talk about this on here. And they were asking you a question about, like, okay, so if we're not supposed to be oversharing, like what you're talking about, who are we sharing with? How do we process? If we have stuff we need to work through, who are we doing that with if the man doesn't want to be hearing us talking nonstop? And
You can answer that.
Yes, I can answer that. Because as women, we talk way more than men. We just process how our nervous systems are. We process way more words than the masculine. I think the woman processes like 16,000 words or something like that. And the man is just like a few thousand words in a day, something like that. But you still need to be able to process things as a woman. So you need tools to help you process. You do not want to use him to process all of your thoughts and your emotions. This is something we're teaching our daughter right now, because every thought that comes to her head, she reminds me so much of me when I was a little girl. My dad used to say I had verbal diarrhea. Every thought that comes to her head, she wants to talk about. Right? And so that's a lot of women are like that. Like every thought that comes to your head, you want to process, you want to talk about it. And you'll do the really long messages. You'll just, when you get on a phone, you get on a call with Coach B or with the guy, you're just talking and talking and talking and talking. And that tells me that you haven't learned how to embody and process the things that are going on in your mind. So that's a skill set. And that's something that we teach you in the Feminine Energy Academy. So one of the big things that we teach our ladies is if you're going through something and you need to process, you need to soundboard, which you have every right to do. If you haven't learned that skill yet to do internally, where maybe you're scripting, you're writing, you're processing, but you need to verbalize it, that's what the Feminine Energy Academy is for. So I'll tell the ladies, post in there.
Yeah.
Say, hey, ladies, this just happened with this guy. This is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. I'm really frustrated right now. I'm feeling triggered.
Yes.
And that's your place to learn how to process your emotions.
No.
Okay? Don't process your emotions with him, because that's what's going to kill your polarity. Now, I'm also not saying that you can't ever process emotions. There's some things that, of course, I'll still process with my husband, but I'm not processing every thought that comes to my mind with my husband, because his nervous system can't handle it. No. He's amazing, and he would probably sit there, but he would be zoned out, right?
Searching for one word I heard.
But maybe you could, I don't know if you want to touch on that one more time.
It's super important to understand what you're saying, because it's 6 words that men really don't want to hear over and over, and it's 2 different phrases. One is, can we talk? Right? Men don't want to hear you every 20 minutes. Can we talk? Or I've been thinking. No. No,
I do say that.
Yes, but it's okay to say it. But this isn't something that every time he looks up, like, okay, I've been thinking. We need to talk. We need, can we talk? Like, no, we can't talk. I'm relaxing. It looks like you're not doing anything. Can we talk? I'm doing nothing right now, right? So being able to process, being able to script, being able to journal, those things are important. Now, men understand. Healthy men understand that to be in a healthy relationship, you have to have conversation skills, right? So we have to have conversation skills. We have to be able to be there if you want to share, because, that's part of just us growing together, because we have areas in which we need to grow in. So it's not that we're shutting you down, but understand the situation, read the room, right? Know who you're dwelling with, and understand, like, okay, well, the way he's looking right now, maybe he's just in his own space. Maybe right now isn't a good time. I'll come back later and talk to him. I'll come back later, or whatever the case is, because we have to do it as well. If you come in and you have a look on your face, I don't care how I feel. It may be a time that we at least have to have a conversation. So those are relationship skills that you
Yeah.
don't learn. You don't learn those relationship skills
Yeah.
in school. You don't
Yeah.
learn them at home. It's just like, how do I feel? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I feel this way. I need to talk. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to talk. Or you get a man who's like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't feel like talking. And those ways don't make healthy relationships. But it's understanding who you're with and timing. But you don't want to overwhelm him consistently, always wanting to talk. That won't be
Yeah.
healthy for a relationship.
No, it's going to kill the polarity.
Yeah.
And so the timing is so important,
Yeah.
ladies, so important to really understand when to talk to the masculine. And once again, like what you're saying, it's a skill set.
Yeah.
We're teaching our daughter this. You know,
Yeah.
there's stuff that she wants to ask Pops. And I'm like, I told her this week, actually, I'm like, as soon as he comes through the door, do not bombard him
Right.
with all your questions. Give Pops time to relax and, if he wants to eat, get drink, sit down,
Right.
catch his breath.
Yes.
And then we can talk when the time is right. So she's learning that at 10 years old. And she will say to Pops now, she'll be like, Pops, is this a good time to talk?
That's
So
true.
so we're teaching her this
so
stuff.
true.
And most of us were not taught this. But
Yes.
anyway, go ahead with the questions,
No,
babe.
let's get to Boosted Barbie's question.
Yeah, Boosted Barbie,
She's
shout
in
out
the
to her.
FEA.
Yes.
Shout out to you. She's been doing the work.
Yes, she has.
What do you do when a guy pursues you really, really hard and wants to see you multiple times a day, but you stick to your once and twice a week plans
Yep.
while rotationally dating,
Yep.
and then he randomly stands you up? So can you answer the first part first?
Yeah.
Because, that's coming from a woman's perspective on what
Yeah.
she needs to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is great. And I know Boosted Barbie, she's beautiful. So I'm not surprised that men are coming at her hard and want to be with her a lot. So here's the thing, ladies. Especially at the beginning, men get really excited and they just want to talk to you. They want to see you. They want to just be in your presence all the time. You need to pace them because they burn themselves out. So even though he wants to see you multiple times a day, you need to pace him. And this is why we tell you keep rotationally dating, and good for you for still only sticking to seeing him once or twice a week for dates. Okay. So that's good that you did all those things right. And then he randomly stands you up. So if this is like a first time thing, how I teach our ladies is, you know what? If he comes back at you, he's like, oh my gosh, my car broke down and then this happened and it's a first time offense. You know what? Okay, you can give him the benefit of the doubt if he's apologetic and he makes it up to you. If he's not even acknowledging it, then this is why you rotationally date. You're and even if he does acknowledge it, you're still rotationally
Yeah,
dating
you're not
because that's
obligated.
that's part of the vetting process. Just because he wants to be with you, just because he's pursuing you, that doesn't mean you need to be with him, right? You can still receive from him, but that whole vetting process, you're seeing how a man is. Can he show up consistently? How does he respond during times of conflict, during times of this happened and it affected your plans? How does he respond to it? Does he care? Does he care about you? Does he care about making it up to you? Does he care about communicating? Is he over communicating or is he under communicating? This is why rotationally dating is so important, and you stay detached while you're doing that. And of course, ladies, we are doing a masterclass on this tomorrow.
Yes.
But go ahead,
And
babe.
one thing to add to it, when a guy responds like that, and let's say it was nothing going on, he just, he was upset. It's a good thing. That's why you do these things, because you want to see how men respond when things don't necessarily go their way early. Not that you want to manufacture it, but when things happen, you see how he responds. And men who maybe are used to getting what they want, only thing I have to do is reach out to her. She's ready. And then you come in with your feminine energy. You've been in the Feminine Energy Academy and you have boundaries in place. Men can get upset. And men can get like, what happened? Like, no, you're not showing me that you want to be with me. So, I'm just going to stay over here. Be thankful and understand that he may not be in a place right now where he's ready to pursue you because he needs to work through some things. And he's showing you quickly, potentially, if it was nothing going on, and now you don't have to waste time with this guy. Now, like you said, you can give him a chance, but it shows you so much when you say no to a man, how they respond. That can let you know so much as far as what you need to know.
And ladies, when you're dating, you're looking at patterns. You're looking at patterns, okay? So it's not the one-time thing, but it's a pattern.
Yeah.
And actually, this just reminded me, I actually did a brand new training for the ladies in the FEM. I'm adding it today. I recorded it yesterday because I realized after doing, I was listening to your coaching call session with the ladies. Because a lot of our ladies now are dating, right? They came to us single, now they're dating, and they're going through these things, what I call micro trigger events, where something happens and, maybe he misses a date or a phone call, or he just does something that's just not in alignment with what you want. And it's like, do you keep giving him a chance, or do you keep dating him? And how you respond is really important. And what you ladies need to understand too, when you are dating men, a lot of times they're unconscious to things. You are unconscious to things and he's unconscious to things. And this is why dating is so good, because it's going to bring things to your awareness, things that you didn't know you needed to work on. And it's going to bring things to his awareness that he didn't know he needed to work on. And it's how you respond in these moments that either brings you guys closer together or farther apart. So I am going to be uploading that training today after this live stream in the Feminine Energy Academy on how you handle those moments. Are they going to bring you closer together? Or are they going to, cause him to fall away and make space for the right guy? Yeah.
Yes. Did you want to add anything to it?
Well, and then it looks like Boots Barbie said he keeps texting and saying sorry for days afterwards. When I ignored everything after being, what does it say?
After being begged for time, then stood up. So he was begging her for time.
Yeah.
Then he stood her up. Now he's texting her, apologizing. And again, you have to make a decision. Do you want to continue to pursue this? And it's not based on, oh, he apologized, he means it. No. Where are you at with it? You're rotationally dating, right? You don't have to continue to give guys a chance. And you have to also see, is this a pattern of type of guys that you continue to attract? If this is a pattern of the type of guys you continue to attract, then it's something that you may want to look deeper into, see if there's more healing that's needed, because guys just mirror your energy. And I'm not saying that's you, Boosted Barbie, but I'm saying in general for the ladies that are listening.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's what I'm talking about in that video that I'm going to be uploading later, is even Coach B had some moments where, he had some awakening moments where, a lot of times men are just used to doing certain things and they need to know that they can't do it with you. And you're not triggered, you're not bothered, you're detached because you're rotationally dating, but there's ways that you can show a man that it's just not going to work with you. So, yeah.
Definitely. I know we're running short on time here.
Oh, yeah, we are.
I know,
Past our time.
I know. But if we didn't get to your questions, make sure you jump into the FEA right now. It's a free 7-day trial. Plus, you get a free 15-minute clarity call with me when you sign up. And then you can ask all your questions you have on that clarity call. You can also get a chance to binge and watch everything in the FEA for that first 7 days, see if it's something that works for you.
Yeah, and then of course we have our masterclass tomorrow where I'm going to be teaching you ladies how to unlock those potent codes. This is way more potent than I can share on YouTube, where you're going to be that secure, magnetic, sexy woman that men are just obsessed with and want to marry, pursue, and all that stuff. So we're going to be talking about your nervous system re-regulating, hormone re-regulating, your feminine energy re-regulating, so you can feel really confident and secure in your feminine energy. Okay, we love you ladies so much. We're going to be talking about anxious attachment style too as well tomorrow. So hopefully you can jump on that. The link will be below. You can also catch the replay. So if you're watching the replay right now, you can catch the replay in all of our masterclass replays that we do. Their premium masterclass replays that we do every Saturday are available for you ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy as well. And we love you.